All right. Good evening, everyone. Today, I would like to um, run us through my SQL. Um, SQL stands for Structured Query Language. So, what we want to do today is we want to look at what SQL is used for. The what a database is, what a table is, right? And then we also see how to write simple MySQL statements. Okay, as you can see on the screen, I'm using the version 8.0.32 MySQL Server Community. So this is my command line client. So what I'm going to quickly do here is I'm going to exit. I'm going to exit this page so that um, we're going to type exit so that we can start fresh on we can start on a fresh note. Okay. All right. So what I will do now is I will quickly share the outline with you. I believe you can still see the screen. Um, now, basically, what we're going to talk about today. So we're going to be having this class in series, in different series. All right. So today we'll be looking at introduction to database and tables. We'll be looking at data types in MySQL. Um, we'll be looking at the varchar, the dec, the char or character, date, the blob, the int or integer, the date time, and the timestamp. Then we'll be looking at commands in MySQL. Um, basically, the RDBMS, which stands for the Relational Database Management System that we are looking at, is MySQL. So there are different versions of RDBMS. But what will the primary purpose of this lecture for the purpose of this lecture, so to speak, what we'll be looking at is MySQL, right? So actually, the knowledge are transferable. So if you're using other versions of RDBMS, you can still apply the basic knowledge you have here in MySQL RDBMS to other RDBMS. All right. Okay. So we'll be looking at create table commands. The use database, create table. Oh, sorry, create database, use database, create table, and the desk. The desk there means describe. All right, so let's start. Now, when we talk about database, okay, so when we talk about database, what exactly are we talking about? Now, a database is a container. We can describe it like a container that holds all your data in SQL. You see, database is a container that holds all your data in SQL. Database is a container that holds tables and other SQL structures related to those tables. So what we're saying is, um, when you look at a database, it's like a container. So within that container, you have tables and the structures of your tables. So they are all held in the database. All right. Now, every time maybe every time you search online, go shopping, call up information, use your TiVo, make a reservation, get speeding tickets or buy groceries. Okay. Anytime you perform any of these actions, a database is being asked for information. Okay, a database is being what asked for information. In a proper language, we call it. We say the database is being queried. That's what it means. The database is being queried. Okay. Now, in when you see maybe like a flow diagram or something, database are often represented in something that looks like a container, like a circuit. I'm going to show you an example of that, so we can, maybe just display some images, so we can understand better what I am talking about. Just give me some few seconds so I can show you this. Okay. All right. So I'm showing you this now. So you can see this is my database. My database. So you can see my database. It's shown in like something like a cylinder structure. So that's what we use to represent database. So we can see that in a flow chart oftentimes. So when you see something like this, it represents database. So you can see what we have here. Now, database is everywhere around you. You can see your bank account, your iPod playlist, student loan, your iScore on video games, IMDb, Google search engine, dry cleaners, library card, credit card, DMV, phone bill. They are just everywhere. So all of these things you see are data. They are databases. Okay, so you and just a few of the databases that surround you. So these are all the databases that surround you. Virtually everything you do are in a database. Now, a database is like a container. Okay, as I said earlier, it's like a container. Now, within the container, you're going to be seeing several tables, as you can see. You know, you're going to be seeing several tables within the container. Okay. Now, a table basically comprises of rows and columns. Okay, so these are columns. You can see this arrow. These are columns. Okay, while these are rows. These are columns, and then these are rows. Okay, so that's what we have there. So we'll just quickly look at an example where we're going to working on rewriting some SQL codes so that we can quickly have an understanding of what we're talking about. But before then, it's necessary that we discuss the various data types. Okay, so I'll just briefly scroll there where I'll just briefly scroll there. So for us to be able to understand what are the various data types. Now, the first um, data type that we have is the vaca. Okay, vaca. Let me go here so you can see vaca. This is the first data type that we have. Vaca. Another word for vaca is variable character. All right, variable character. So it just tells you basically they are text characters. Okay, um, should be able to show you this here so you can understand better. Let me say create table database. Um, let's say where we have that. Just some few. Let's see where we have that so we can be on the same page because you actually need to understand these various data types um, before we start writing the codes. Okay, I think I'm almost there. Just some few scroll downwards. Let's say yes, I think I'm there. All right, so you can look at what we have here. So you can see vaca. Like for instance, I need to create a table. If I need to create a table, all I need to type is I type the command create table, my contact, and then I type the columns headings like last name, last underscore name, vaca 30. So what this 30 means is that the the um, the characters, the variable characters you can type in any of the cells or in the table with the column last name can be up to 30 characters. So that's what vaca 30 means. Okay. All right. So I think we can demonstrate this with a code. Let's write a simple code on my SQL so that you can see um, what we mean by that. So what we are going to do now is um, we're going to create a simple table, okay, on my SQL starting from scratch. So let me quickly launch my SQL command. Um, okay, this is my SQL command. All right. So normally, if you want to start your SQL command line client, okay, if you want to, let me see, this is still recording. Okay, all right. Normally, if you want to start my SQL command line client, okay, let me say I need to exit this. Sorry, let me exit. Okay, all right. So I'm coming back. All I know just need to do is I can go to my search box here. I click on MySQL 8.0 command client. I have that already here. I can move it to the screen so you can see it asks me to enter my password. All right. So maybe in another video, we are going to see how we can actually set up how we can actually set up my SQL, install my SQL. Okay, so the software is an open source software, meaning that it is free. You can download it. Um, you can download it from my SQL website and have it installed on your PC at no cost. So we can run a video some other time that will show the processes involved in getting this done. Okay, so I'm going to enter my password. All right, so you can see the moment I enter my password, it tells me welcome to my SQL monitor, command sense with blah blah blah. So you can see my SQL. So this what we have here is the command prompt. So it means that you can start typing your SQL commands and statement. You can start typing your SQL statement, so to speak. All right. So the first thing I'm going to do here is I need to create I need to create a database. Okay. So I'll type create database. Create database is a command in MySQL. So I'm going to type create database, and then I can call my create database. Let me see, what can I call it? I can have a database. I can call, let me say my underscore special, my underscore. So that's my underscore. My unders my underscore special list. Okay, so I have create database my underscore special list. Special list. Okay, so I press enter. Oh, sorry. Before you press enter, something is important here. For you to end your commands, um, let's let's before you press enter, for you to end your commands, you need to end it with a semicolon. You need to end it with a semicolon. Now, the thing is, once you've done something like this, it may not be too easy for you to take out for you to delete the codes that you've written. So the best thing is to make sure that you're being careful. Um, let's see if we can take this out so that we can write our okay command list. Okay, let's see. So if we have a semicolon here, let's see what happens. Error. Okay, because you have an error in your SQL syntax, check the manual that corresponds to your MySQL version for the right syntax to use. Create database, my specialist at line 2. Okay, so we can type it again. Okay, so let's have it. I think that's because we have create database. Okay, then you have my underscore special underscore list. Okay, and then I end it with a semicolon. So it tells me my query is okay and one row has been affected. Okay, so that tells you that you've successfully created this data, you successfully created this database. Okay, so the next thing you more have to do is to use database. Okay, so you need to use database, and the database you are using is my underscore special. Are you getting me? Underscore lists. End it with a semicolon. Oh, unknown database. Sorry for that. So we need to type excuse me. So just say use my underscore special underscore lists. Okay, because MySQL is not recognizing this database. Of course, you've already defined it that this is a database here. So we don't need to type the database again here. All right. So I can press enter. So database changed. So that means that it's been accepted. Okay. So what we can then do is to create a table, and I can create table. Okay. So create table. So the first thing you need to do is there are two ways to do this. Okay, you can just be typing in your code straight up that way, or you can be doing it line by line. Okay, but I advise you just type it straight up. So you open a bracket, right? So you can open a bracket and then type in the codes. Okay, so typing in the codes helps you define the structure of your table, because what you're going to be typing in here will be the heading. That will be the heading of your table. Okay, so create table. Now I may want to call. I need to name my table because my table needs to have a title. All right, so let me take this out first. My table needs to have a title. The database is my specialist. Then my table must have a title. So let me call my table my underscore first underscore sorry, I want to use my underscore first underscore list. Okay, so I have my underscore first underscore list, and then what I'm going to do is to open a bracket. So I need to open a bracket. Okay, so let's say the first column I want in my table, the first column I want in my table is I need to see last name. Okay, so I want to see last name, and the variable character I need there, the variable character I need there is 30. I follow this with a comma. Okay. Um, Next, I want to see first name. I want to see first, first, first underscore name. Okay, so when you're writing the columns heading in MySQL, you need to be careful. Um, you know, you don't give spaces. MySQL does not accept spaces, so instead of having spaces, just use underscore when you need to separate characters. So instead of having spaces, it's advisable you just use underscore. So first name that can have first name that can have var variable character. You can give that variable character. Let's say a maximum characters we want there is 20. Comma. Um, we may want to see the birthday of the people we are collecting their data. Now for birthday, Excel has not Excel, sorry, I'm so used to Excel. So my SQL has a special command for this, and that is the date command. Okay, we cannot use the varchar command, the variable character command, because this is a date. So we have to type date, comma. Now let's say profession. We want to know the profession of the people we are collecting their data. So profession, this is going to be a varchar, variable character. Um, let's say we are setting days at 50 characters max. Okay. Next, we want to see the location of those we're getting their information. Varchar, variable character, max of let's also say 50. And then next, we want to see the status, maybe single or married. So we want to see the status. Status could mean any other thing. So we need to see the status of those who are collecting information, their information. So that's also going to be varchar. Let's say maximum character of 20. What else? We need to know their interests. Okay, interest. So what are they interested in? Interests. So we need to know their interests. So this can be vaca. You can set this at 100. Okay, vaca 100. Um, we need to know. Let's say we need to know what they are seeking. Okay, so this can be vaca. This can be vaca. Let's say 200. Okay, let's say vaca 200. All right. Now, if this is the last column, okay, so all you need to do is you need to close. Okay, so you need to close. You need to close the bracket. No, you open the bracket, so you need to close the bracket and then follow it with a semicolon to show that you've ended the commands. You know, so you either type a semicolon or backward slash G to end the commands. Okay, so once that is done, you press the return key and it tells you query OK. So query OK, 0 rows affected in 0.42 seconds. All right. So basically, what you've done now, what you've been able to do is we've been able to create a database which is named my special list. All right. Um, After creating the database successfully in 0.15 seconds, um, um, we've been able to make use of the database. You can see the command line there. Use my specialist. So we created the database and now we want to use the database. So use my specialist, and then we ended the command, and then the database changed. Okay, because we're using this database. We could have other databases before that we've created, but we're using my specialist database. So it then means that whatever table we're going to be creating subsequently after selecting my specialist will be in the selected database. And then we created a table which is called my first list, where we listed the last name as the first column, with VACA variable character 30, first name with variable character 20, birthday with a date command prompt, with a date command, profession with a VACA 50 variable character. This is variable character 50 means the maximum character variable character it can accept is 50. Now, the reason why we call it variable character is because it can change. Unlike when you use car, which is the CHR, we shall be seeing that later um, in the subsequent codes that will be writing. When you use car, or which is the CHAR, or it's either called car or character. Okay, but when it's variable character, variable means it can change. So variable character can change, but car or character will not change. An example is sex, male or female. So it's a male or it's a female. So it's a car because it can't change. But variable character like profession, like location, like it could be numerous. So that's why it's called variable. It can it's not fixed, so to speak. I hope that is clear. Now location is also a variable character, status variable character, interest variable character, seeking variable character. Now you can see that all right, now you can see that with every column that we're stipulating, we are separating each column with a comma. But the last column has no comma. The last column has no comma. Okay, that's to show that it's the last column, and then we are ending the statement. We are ending the SQL statement, and then we are closing it with a semicolon, which is the end of the commands. Okay, all right. Now, what else do we need to do here? Of course, we need to be able to view the table that we have created. So how do we do that? All you need to do is in the next, you can see the command prompt is blinking. So you type your desk. This is the command that you will use. So desk is describe, okay? Describe. So that's the short form desk. So DESC, okay? And then you type the name of the table, which is my underscore first, sorry, my underscore first underscore lists, sorry, underscore lists. Okay, don't always forget to end it with a semicolon. That shows that you know you have ended the command, either with a semicolon or a backward slash g, and then you can press OK. So you can see that MySQL has returned the table that we created here. So you can see the fields. You can see the fields here, which are last name, first name, birthday, and all sorts. And then you can see the data type, VACA 30. You can see this is date, VACA 50. You can see this null key, default is null. And we had 8 rows in set. Okay, 8 rows in set in 0.16 seconds. All right. So that's all we have. We're going to continue from here in the next class. I hope this is clear. In case you have any questions, you can drop your questions. Because you actually need to understand this, how to write this code. So you actually need to know how we get here, because from here we're going to be building. We're going to get it's going to get more complicated. We are going to be building on this, but the foundation must be laid. Okay, so you need to understand this. So thank you very much for your time, and hope to see you in the next class.